Good morning. I just wanted to jump on and say good morning and just go through how I'm seeing my body have to adapt to the last couple of weeks. So I know that obviously stress affects the body, and it's very, 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 very interesting for me to observe just how quickly our body can actually adapt to these changes. So I'm Patrick here from Complete Health in Eastbourne, and I just want to basically just jump through and just talk about my experiences over the last couple of weeks. So September, super busy month for me. It's my sister's birthday, it's my birthday, it's my girlfriend's birthday. I've got friends that have got birthdays in September. So starting all the way from the beginning of September all the way through to now, I've probably had, I think it's about 8 or 9 different, morning buddy, I've had about 8 or 9 different birthdays through the month of September, which realistically is a couple of birthdays a week. Now, that wouldn't be a massive issue apart from with birthdays, it very commonly links to poor diet, lack of exercise, not necessarily taking care of stuff like your alcohol consumption. And as a result, what I've very rapidly seen is just how much my body can adapt to this kind of stress. So when we look at birthdays, one of the most common things is we would start to obviously eat stuff like a lot of cake. We would eat stuff like, takeaways, high salt, high fat diets. And as a result, what I've ended up doing is sitting around, and I've probably lacked exercise in a significant manner. Now, even in just a couple of weeks, it's really obvious to see just how much my body has had to adapt to that. My sleep pattern has massively gone downhill. So even though I went to bed early last night, all I did was toss and turn. My exercise pattern isn't been as good. So as a result, I can already see that I'm starting to put on weight. And it's only been a couple of weeks. Now, it's really interesting that this type of behavior for me is really uncommon. So to have a couple of weeks where I'm eating very badly is really, really uncommon. But to see those changes within a couple of weeks, I can now understand why people can go on holiday and put on nearly a stone. And it's really super simple. Now, what we have to understand is that these kinds of behaviors, they're okay if we're only doing them a very small minority of the time. Now, our body is really designed in 2 ways: stress or recovery. And that's really is as simple as that. Our nerve system is over 1 billion years old. If it was too complex, there was no way that we would have ever survived. So our body goes into a state of stress when we need to survive, and our body goes into a state of relaxation when we're recovering. Now, the reality of it is if we're constantly putting stress like sugar, fat, lack of exercise, our body is never really getting that opportunity to fully recover. Having stuff like a lot of sugar and caffeine and alcohol really seriously interrupts our sleep, which again is our recovery time. So the statistics actually show that if you consistently behave in a way like this more than about 20% of the time, what starts to happen is your risk of certain disorders starts to go up. So lack of exercise and a high sugar and high fat diet is something like an 80 to 90% increase in coronary heart disease. And that's massive. Lack of exercise has a significant increase on risks of dementia and Alzheimer's. Lack of exercise and a high sugar and high fat diet, significant increase on colon and other types of cancers. And unfortunately, that one was a very personal experience for me because that's what my mum had. And she ate quite a lot of processed foods. And my mum never pretty much ever exercised a day in her life. I had to learn a very serious lesson about that. So yes, it's great to have celebrations. Like I say, September, maybe a few too many celebrations for me in September. But what I'm now seeing is why people feel the way that they do, because when I look at my patients' lifestyles, a lot of their behaviors are like what mine have been for the last couple of weeks. That lack of exercise, that poor diet. And if you consistently do this, I can really understand from your or other people's perspectives, maybe not necessarily your perspectives, but from other people's perspectives, exactly why they feel the way they do. So if you need a little bit of help, or you need a little bit of encouragement, or you want a little bit of a boost in the morning, try and stay on these posts, because I'm always going to be giving you these posts in the morning just to try and keep you guys motivated, give you something to work towards, or maybe you just you've lost your way a little bit and you want a little bit of advice on how to get back onto the wagon, maybe you want to understand a little bit more about what a healthier diet looks like, maybe you want to understand a little bit more about what healthy exercise is, or maybe you're actually suffering with a problem or a health problem that's maybe arisen as a result of poor lifestyle, and maybe you want a little bit of advice on that. By the way, chiropractors, we tend to be labeled as treating mechanical disorders, so stuff like back pain, joint pain, neck pain, headaches, etc. But actually our physiological understanding goes much, much deeper than that. We actually have to train for hours and hours and hours on all of the stuff that goes on with, say, for example, stuff like your liver, your kidneys, your blood system, your nerve system. All of these things are all interlinked. And so when you actually look at a chiropractor, they have the same medical training as doctors, just we don't go into the pharmaceutical and surgery part of things. We go back towards the MSK stuff. So we all have to do the same medical sciences. So when it comes to advising people on how to take care of their health, we can give you advice across the board of natural ways you can start to actually control your heart disease, natural ways you can actually start to prevent stuff like cancer. You can't necessarily treat cancer naturally, but there have been a lot of studies that have shown that those people that suffer with cancer, if they exercise and they eat a better diet, they're much more likely to go into remission. Let those thoughts sink in for the morning. I will see you guys in the clinic very, very soon. Like I say, if you need any help, please reach out to us. We'll speak to you soon.